Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Food, Wine, and Whiskey in Your Own Backyard. I'm your host, Rob, and today I have a couple special guests. Jeremy Hart is joining us, and also Stefano is joining us. And we're going to kind of get into what we're going to be talking about here in just a few minutes. But Jeremy, I wanted to start with, you set us up to do this recording at AOC, Art of Cellaring here in Houston. My first time here, fantastic place. Can you just tell us a little bit about what this is?
Yeah, so Art of Cellaring's been around for a few years now. So they do a lot of good things for the community. They have a really good kind of social structure for heavy collectors and then inspiring collectors and people that want to learn about wine that don't really know nothing at the moment but want to get serious about it. And then the other really neat thing that this place offers is that they host the Houston Sommelier Association on certain Wednesdays, so it's an area for inspiring soms to come here and get education directly from importers, winemakers, whoever it may be that week. So some of the things that they offer is wine storage facilities. So you get X amount of, I think it's almost 24-hour access to come in here and access your wine. Everything's held at temperature control. And then they can also receive stuff, and that's super important with Texas heat. And so that's one of the things that they do. And then the other one's a wine school. So they are the hub for the W set, which is kind of the most inspiring education forum for people not pursuing the court, the Master Sommelier Court. So it's the kind of the baseline to become an MW, a Master of Wine, which is still a really small set of people in the world. I think it's still under 300, which is pretty crazy. Wow. And so that's what they do. And so they were kind enough to let us use their space today, and it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. It's a cool place. So, well, let's get right into it. Stefano, you're with Casoni, and tell us a little bit about who you are and kind of what you do and kind of what we'll be doing here today.
All right, for sure. First of all, thank you, Rob, for inviting me here today. It's a really pleasure to be here. And hi to all those ones who are listening. So I work, as you said, for Casoni. Casoni is an Italian distillery, one of the most ancient, actually. It was founded back in 1814 in Italy by two brothers. And what we produce, we do produce mainly Amaros and Aperitivo, so very classic Italian liqueurs. So the Casoni brothers started in 1814 with producing Anicione, which is an extremely traditional Italian liqueur made out of anise distillate, and nothing, basically. So it's like no sugar, 45 ABV, and pure anise. So super powerful. It was great for the country people, no?
Sure.
Early in the morning, sipping some Anicione before going out and work, no?
Yeah, 90 proof, yeah.
Yes, it's a lot. And then the company evolved, actually. It has been always run by the family. And after the war, Enea Casoni rebuilt the distillery. Unfortunately, in 1964, he passed away due to a car accident, but his son, Mario, was being legendary for the company. Was only 23 and he started working into the company. He was a racing car driver for the Scuderia Ferrari.
Okay.
For Ferrari. Okay, so the Italian big brand of sporty car. I'm sure you're familiar with it.
We've heard of it. I think of.
Do you have a Ferrari? Do you own a Ferrari?
I wish I did.
Do you have something to hide?
Absolutely.
And so Mario was the one. He was a close friend of Enzo Ferrari, so the owner of the Ferrari. Anytime Enzo Ferrari had a problem with a machine, with an engine, he used to say, "Why don't just call Mario Casoni? Let's see if he has something for us." No,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. And he was a great businessman, so he fully put all 100% of himself into the company. And from there, the Casoni brand is getting bigger and bigger, and right now we are quite an established Italian distillery. We do export 50% of our turnover, basically. Okay. And we jumped into the USA market 1.5 years ago with our Amaros and Aperitivos.
Okay, that was going to be my question. How are you in the American market? But you just said that 1.5 years you've been in the American market.
Yes, a year and a half now. Yeah.
And we're in Texas. So how long have you been in Texas?
10 days now, I would say.
Oh, is that
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so this is brand new to Texas.
Extremely brand new. Yes, indeed.
When Jeremy sent me the pictures of what we'd be talking about and discussing, and you guys know Jeremy, I'm kind of a wine guy. I was thinking that direction, and I was like, whoa, this is kind of cool. This is different. And I'm always, interested in learning and kind of figuring out new spirits and kind of what's out there and trying new things. And this really intrigued me. And I'll let you talk more about it, but I was excited to be able to see kind of what this is and how you can drink it, and we're going to get into that. So keep going, Stefano.
For sure. So there's, as I say, there's an entire world of Amaros and Aperitivo to discover. Actually, particularly in the US, but anywhere in the world, we are much familiar with just a few brands, but there are I wouldn't say thousands, but maybe almost 1,000 of Italian producers of aperitivos and Amaro.
Okay.
So there is an entire world to discover. We just launched in the market here in Texas our Aperitivo 1814 and 2 Amaros, Amaro Casoni Heritage and Amaro del Ciclista, which you will never know how to pronounce it, probably.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love your accent, but for everybody listening, we're going to put pictures up on the Facebook sites and Instagram, Twitter. We'll get this out so everybody can see what we're discussing.
All right. Google Translate can help sometimes.
There you go.
You know? So I'm going to start. Are we doing, guys, a little tasting, no?
We're going to do a little tasting. So
I'm going to start from the Aperitivo 1814. The aperitivo is a classical Italian liqueur. Maybe the most of the guys and girls who are listening now are familiar with Amaro. Amaro is an Italian aperitivo.
Okay.
So our aperitivo 1814 definitely belongs to the same family of Amaro. It's an Italian liqueur, sweet orange based. Okay. Then bitter orange, gentian, cardamom, and a little bit of juniper. That's what.
And the thing that kind of stuck out to me when I was looking at these were they're all kind of low proof. But you also told me this first one we're talking about, the 1814, is kind of directed to be drank before dinner.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would say that the Italian liqueurs world, it's about for sure pre-dinner and after dinner, but it's about the aperitivo. Okay, aperitivo is an Italian word that stands for aprire. Aprire means to open. So aperitivo is something that literally opens your stomach before eating. Okay, so aperitivo is any sort of drink, cocktails, liqueur, booze, spirit that it's bittersweet. Okay, so helps you. Waiting for food, helps you eventually digesting as well.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So there is an entire world. So have you ever been in Italy, Rob?
No, but I'm going next year.
All right, you tell me when. Okay.
Okay.
So in Italy, it's all about the aperitivo. So when you go out, you just go out for drinks. You go out before dinner. Okay, you go out around 6, maybe 7 as well, 7 p.m. Okay.
Yeah.
And you have an aperitivo, which could be a prosecco, which could be a champagne for those who can afford it, which could be a Negroni, a Milano Torino, Americano. So the classic Italian cocktails that definitely prepares your stomach for food. Okay. That's the main rule. So it's a nice way to gather together, to talk. And
so this first one, 1814, is designed that way. It's made that way.
The 1814 is the main ingredient of the aperitivo. So it's the main ingredient of the spritz cocktail, which is 1 part of aperitivo, so 1 part of Casoni 1814, 2 parts of prosecco, and then topping up with soda water.
Sounds good.
It does.
That one sounds really good.
It's definitely good.
Jeremy, you've had these already, obviously?
I've had, I adore, I love. They're fantastic.
Okay. You know, I've heard of the spritzers. I've never had one. So, I mean, hear about them on TV shows or whatever, you know, but I've never had one. So I'm looking forward to now getting these recipes. We'll talk about that later, where my wife's going to love them. So I'm looking forward to being able to do that. So pretty cool.
Fantastic. You can be a spritz master
I don't
with
know about
me
that,
in the next 10 minutes.
We'll work on it. Yeah, maybe next time you come, I'll be able to make one halfway decent for you.
Fantastic.
What about trying this first one? Can we try it?
For sure.
Okay.
Please. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. So definitely sweet, huh?
Definitely always leans that way. Yeah, of course. Yeah. To me, this is a little less sweet. That's in line? Yes.
So it's in line with the. I would say it's even less sweet than other brands on the market, and it has to has bittersweet. So I'm sure you can feel gentian.
Definitely get the bitters.
Okay.
Yeah. Eventually
in the back of the mouth.
In the back of the mouth. That's
palate,
exactly.
Yeah. You get gentian a little bit. You get cardamom, and maybe the juniper, but maybe that's much more when you mix it. Okay.
Okay. So tell me, when you drink this before dinner, is it a 2-ounce pour? You have 1 glass, and that's all you should have, or how do you drink this?
Like talking about today, it's very hard to drink an aperitivo by itself before dinner. But if you think that in the 16s, 70s, it was something that it was actually done by people. So the original aperitivo for Italy was vermouth, just sweet vermouth on the rocks. That's it. And it's still like that, even not, if not that much. And then it turns out into being the aperitivo. So the original way to drink the aperitivo was just on the rocks with seltz, so soda water, and that's it. But right now it's much more mixed, so in a spritz cocktail.
But you can have 2 or 3 of these before dinner, no big deal?
Yes.
Easily.
Okay. Or even after.
Because, I mean, I'm tasting that and going, my wife gets a hold of this. She's gonna, that bottle might be going before dinner. That's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, it is. This is 15 ABV, so a little bit stronger than what you can usually find in the market. And the alcohol level, the higher alcohol level sustains the bitterness and the flavors that needs a little bit more of.
Say the ABV again. What was it?
15.
15.
Yeah. So how was that? How was the first try?
Man, I really like that. And again, I don't think I've had anything like it before, but that was really good. I can see where sipping on that before dinner would be really good.
Sure.
On cooking, just hanging out.
Yeah, it can be dinner, or it can be turned out into an after-dinner cocktail, which this guy, you invented this in the US, the paper plane cocktail, which is a classic 1 part bourbon, 1 part aperitivo, 1 part of Amaro, half part of lemon juice, shaked and strained.
So bourbon, you have a bourbon cocktail with
bourbon cocktail with aperitivo.
Now you're right in my lane. I love
bourbon. Amaro, aperitivo, fresh lemon squeezed juice, and shaked, strained, and just I like rosemary on the top, but it's supposed to be orange.
Okay, that sounds really good.
It
cool.
is.
So you have several different recipes you can kind of put together, and those will be on the website. We can get kind of people directed to that, and they can find these recipes for these different cocktails.
Yes, there's for sure.
Okay, so the first one we're talking about is more before dinner. That's kind of what it's designed for. The next 2 we're going to talk about are primarily for after dinner.
Yes.
All right, let's jump into those.
Fantastic. We are gonna jump into the Amaro world, which is huge. It's extremely huge. So you just think about that the Amaro was born in the 14th century, in Italy, and it was used for medical purposes, no? So you had headache, you had a sip of Amaro, anything you had a sip of Amaro. Eventually they find out it was pretty much useless, but still something good to drink,
Sure.
So they kept producing Amaros, and the boom of the Amaros was in the 19th centuries, so actually from where the distillery was founded. And so many distilleries in Italy producing Amaro. There are so many different recipes, and there is no proper classification. So like I would say the Italian law has general rules in order to classifying an Amaro. It's at least 15 ABV, at least 10% sugar, and it has to have bitter taste, which is could be pretty much anything, no?
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yes. There are a couple of big categories, big families of Amaro that I always like to highlight. The southern style, citrusy, sweet style of Amaro as the Amaro Casoni heritage, and the northern style, alpine style of Amaro as the Amaro del Ciclista, which is a brand, of course, produced and owned by Casoni. This difference helps people in order to understand a little bit, and as well, or in some way, classificate the Amaro world. The citrusy southern style of Amaro, which is the one we are gonna taste right now. It's the Amaro Casoni heritage. We call it this way because the recipe is 150 years old now. The design of the label dates back to 1814. So this is actually the very first label the Casoni brothers used to pack all the products in.
So 1814 is really significant to Amaro.
Yeah. So that centuries there was extremely significant for the Amaro, because if you think about the main Italian brands, they were pretty much all born in that century.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
this is obviously different than the first one on the nose.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
This is
and darker in color. I mean, you guys can't see this, but the first one he poured was more of a a rose color, and then kind of got kind of a what do you call that, Jeremy?
Like an amber copper.
Amber.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we almost go to a caramel kind of.
Oh yeah, that's definitely like a molasses almost color. Yeah.
So they changed quite a bit, and the reason for that?
So it's because of the infusion.
Just the infusion.
Yes.
Okay.
The infusion, and as well the sugar as well plays a little bit.
Could you jump into the basically the general process for let's go here instead of there for how this would be made?
So the Amaro, we're talking about the Amaro Heritage now. It's cold, so professionally speaking, I don't know whether it is good in English or not, but cold extraction of aromatic flavors.
Okay.
It's a cold extraction of bitter, sweet, bitter herbs, basically. So in Casoni, we do have total control over the raw materials. Our master distiller, Brunino, is 65 now. Okay, wow. He has been working in the company for the last 45 years. Okay, oh, wow. That's a lot. And he has direct contact with the suppliers of gentian, cardamom, of all the bittersweet, of all the bitter herbs, and he's the one in the company that does the infusions. So we start always from neutral alcohol. So we're talking right now about grain alcohol. Okay. We start from there. We do small batches. I would say 1,000, 2,000 liters. It's the very most we can do with these products. And we infuse the herbs, the fruits, seeds, whatever it takes to get to the balance, no? To find the perfect flavor of the Amaro.
That's very cool.
It's not a long infusion. It's around 1 month and a half, so 6 weeks infusion for the Amaro Heritage.
So the gentleman you spoke of that's been there 45 years, he's the one who kind of has that in his mind, what he wants for the finished product, and he blesses it. He says, okay, this is good.
Yes, that's very much how it works. Yes.
Okay. Otherwise, it's just continuing to kind of play with it until he gets it to where he wants. And
yeah, so I mean, the company is more than 200 years old now, so we do have our own recipes, which are for sure classified, and we know how to do it. It's never a try, no? I mean.
Okay. So it's a recipe you make the same way every time.
We try to. It's never easy.
Sure.
Because when you get to speak about small batches and artisanal and crafted production, I wouldn't bet that any batch is as the same as the other. But what we work for, it's for consistency. So like any day, any customers from New York to San Francisco to Houston, they deserve to taste the great Casoni quality anytime, no? So that's what we work for.
Okay. And is this aged at all? I mean, is this put in any kind of aging process?
No, this is not aged. No.
Okay. Once it's done and it's ready, it can be bottled.
Yes. So it takes 4 to 6 weeks the infusion, and then we go through a very easy and smooth filtration process. So it's basically just as you would be filtering your own coffee at home. So it's just paper filters, okay, super soft process with no high pressures in order to respect the liquid and in order not to lose any flavor, okay.
Okay.
Then after that, there are another 2-3 weeks of resting. So the bulk liquid is into these tanks and rest is left there, and then bottling.
Now I'm going to let you say the name of this one we're drinking again. What is this called?
So this is Amaro Casoni Heritage.
Heritage.
We call it Heritage because
okay.
Yes, we call it Heritage because it's the most one of the most ancient products.
Now, as I'm looking at the bottle, just so people when they start to go look at this and try to figure out which one's which,
Amaro Casoni. You see Amaro Casoni.
Yeah, I don't see Heritage on there. So how would I?
So Heritage is the family name we give to the product. This is just the classic Amaro Casoni.
So this is going to be. I'm just going to describe to you this way, and we'll try to figure out a way to put it good on the Facebook and stuff. But this is the one that's after dinner in a clear bottle. It's the taller one. You're going to see a shorter, darker bottle. These are the two after dinner ones. The one we're talking about right now is the taller, clear bottle. Good stuff. I mean, it's different on the nose. I definitely get the bitters again. But tell me, is this meant to be drank neat, or is it specifically can be drink neat, no problem?
Yes.
Okay.
So I would say, anytime you have to do an Amaro tasting, it's always the best to drink that neat and not chilled. So totally ambient temperature, okay, in order to really get to understand all the flavors and really understand whether the Amaro is balanced or not, because it's never easy, no? Because other brands and other products, they always suggest to consume the Amaro chilled or even frozen, super cold. But in my opinion, it's always the best to have the Amaro as it is.
I like it. It's weird because it's it still has that sweet flavor on it, but you get the bitters on the back end.
Yes.
And I keep thinking I'm not going to like that, but I kind of do. It's kind of weird that you get that bitter taste and you go, it's kind of intriguing. I kind of like it.
Yeah, it's to me one of the kind of telling things for Texans is if you like barbecue bark, you like bitter. It's one of those things where I don't like bitter. I'm like, oh yeah, it's like I've seen you eat barbecue. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You like bitter. Trust me, you like bitter.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely within this liquid, you can appreciate more the gentian and a little bit of quinine too. Okay, so that's the bitter side of it. But as soon as something is balanced, then you're gonna like it. I mean, in my opinion, this is all what we need to look for, no? In anything we taste. I mean, I'm not a wine expert. I'm more on the spirits and cocktail side. But when you drink something which is too sweet or which leaves your mouth not clean, then there's something, no? But even an Amaro, even if it's strong, even if you drink it warm, if it's balanced, it's gonna be good. Then with this one, of course, like in order to have it to make the Amaro be much more drinkable, on the rocks with a lemon peel on the top, there is a little bit of a lemon infusion as well in this product.
Okay, so that's okay
peels.
to...
Yes. Or cocktails. So we were talking before about the paper plane, and so it's made out of the aperitivo and the Amaro. So I would say this Amaro is suitable for making that sort of cocktail, or otherwise I would say an Amaro sour would be something fancy and nice to play with as well. Or Amaro spritz, why not?
Oh, okay. You can go a lot of different directions with that.
Yeah,
Very versatile.
For sure.
Okay. I like this one.
Thank you.
All right. We got the last one. I'm going to let you tell us the name of it again. I like the label. It's got the bike on there. Go ahead. What is that
The
one?
last one is the Amaro del Ciclista. So it's an Amaro made by the Casoni family. While the Amaro Casoni, it's very old, this one is pretty new. We launched this product 3 years ago.
Okay.
And so also for the people who are listening now, there is a bicycle on the label. There is this label like silver mirror style label with a bicycle on it. And the bicycle is dedicated to Enea Casoni. As I mentioned before, Enea was the guy who rebuilt the distillery after the war, in the 50s. And he had no money at the time. He invested all what he had into the distillery. And so for going to meet with the fiancé, he was forced to, crazy Italian guy, he was forced to bike 80 miles every weekend from Finale Emilia, flat, foggy lands nearby Modena, where the distillery is from, up to the Apennini Mountains. So
that's a workout.
It's quite a ride. And once there, he was offered zabaione, which is an Italian dessert, which is basically beaten eggs and sugar, and a sip of Amaro to restore the energy, for energy.
Nice.
So that's why we decided to dedicate the Amaro del Ciclista, so the bicycle Amaro. We decided to dedicate the bottle to
So I have a
Enea.
question. You said it's a new product.
Yeah.
So does that mean it's an old recipe that you started making again, or is this a brand new recipe you guys have come up with for the Amaro?
It's we do have a collection, an old collection of many recipes. So I would say we've been inspired for sure by something that was done in the past. But the recipe, we can say, is new. It's something that we launched 2 years ago. We kind of twist some old
make it
things
your
we
own.
had. Yes, indeed.
Very cool.
So it's always good to make new research, and to be always on time with new products and stuff.
Sure.
That's something.
So when we taste and smell and get into this one, what are we going to get?
completely different Amaro compared to the other one. So this is an Amaro that I describe as being a northern style of Amaro, Alpine style. So much more quinine, rhubarb, licorice, peppermint.
Okay.
So gentian for sure, because, well, basically there's gentian in any of the Italian liqueurs. So you can always say, even if you're not an expert and you taste some Italian stuff, you can say, I feel gentian in it. It's going to be fine. Okay?
People think you know what you're talking
Yes.
about. Yeah, the guy knows. Okay.
People are thinking you're a pro.
You want to try that one? Shall we try it?
Sure.
Yeah, Jeremy, I sip it a little bit. Yeah, you just kind of get right
Oh, I
into it.
love Amaro. Like Amaro's like one of my favorite things in the world. Dropping Amaro are not safe around me.
Because he knows the product. Let's say
Exactly.
So. Let's say so.
That's it. That's it.
So actually, ABV level 26. So as the same as the other Amaro. Sugar level, same level as the other Amaro. But I won't tell you which is.
Should
the
I get
best
some
sugar level.
tobacco on this? Is that bad that I feel like I get a little tobacco? And I don't feel like the bitters are as strong as the last one we had.
Indeed, that's true. Tobacco, chocolate,
Okay.
cocoa, all these
That's
kind
what I'm
of,
getting, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that one. That's different. Man, they're all three, I thought they might be somewhat similar. They're not. They're
They're not.
vastly different.
Yeah, indeed. That's why we decided to approach the USA market with these three different SKUs, because they allows us to widely speak about the Italian liqueurs and widely speak about our company and different recipes that we produce.
And these are coming into the U.S. market through Banville?
Through Banville Wine
Okay.
Merchant, which is our importers based in New York, and then we do have all the distributors in any state.
And are you in all the states as of now, or how many states are you in?
So far, we are gonna be 20 states by the end of the year.
Okay. So I'm guessing you're not in North Dakota or Wyoming or Idaho.
Why you say that?
I'm figuring if you're hitting 20 states, you're hitting the 20 with big markets.
You never know where you can hit a big market, no? For sure, in terms of volume, we all know which are the markets, but it's always a pleasure, no? To go out and talk about the Italian liqueurs, and it's always good to meet with people that care about it, no? And it doesn't really matter whether it's a market,
Sure.
it's super top, high volume or not. You can always do your best where you
can
are.
deal
no?
with that. But if they're in California or Texas, obviously,
Yeah.
New York, and big places on the East
Yeah,
Coast, West
Chicago,
Coast,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
probably close to there already.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chicago.
We are there.
Okay.
Yeah. So New York, Boston, Chicago, Texas, Cali, Michigan.
Michigan. Okay.
So
Arizona.
for sure. Arizona, yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
some of the bigger. Yeah. Cool. Vegas.
that's good.
People go out to Vegas, want a cocktail.
Of
you're
course,
Go.
we are there in
There
Vegas.
you go. You got to be in
There
Vegas.
we are. Amaro shots in Vegas.
There you go.
That's all fun.
All right, very cool. So we talked earlier. Can we go back through now that we've tried all three and so different? But can you talk a little bit about 2 or 3 cocktails that are popular in Italy with each one of these? I know we talked about the spritzer. By the way, this last one, can you make a spritzer with that?
I
Seems so
would say
heavy.
more-
I wouldn't.
So with the last one, it's very heavy, but you can play with it. So I would say for sure for heavy cocktails, so like a Black Manhattan, I would say
Okay.
yes, or a twist on a Negroni, and I'm gonna talk about the Negroni in a few seconds. So adding a bar spoon of Negroni, or maybe instead of Fernet in an Hanky Panky, so a bar spoon of Amaro del Ciclista in an Hanky Panky instead of Fernet, I would
Okay.
say that will work. Or very easy, Amaro and tonic. Cucumber garnish.
Oh,
you
wow.
know, in order to
Okay.
balance the bitterness, so you need freshness. Okay,
Right.
So cucumber works with that.
That's a good one. Okay. So let's go backwards.
Yeah.
The second one we had, cocktails with that. You said you could do a spritzer, but what are some other things?
You can do spritz, you can do Amaro sour, you can do paper plain, you can do any twist in any Negroni as well, I would say. So in Italy, the main Italian mixologies, no, the historical one, it's all about Negroni, Spritz, Milano Torino, and Americano.
Okay.
So Italy was born out of vermouth. So vermouth is something we have to mix, otherwise we would die.
Right.
Okay. So sweet vermouth, dry vermouth, it's something that Italy has been known for. So when we talk about Italian mixologies, we talk about Negroni, Americano, Milano Torino. Negroni is gin, sweet vermouth, and a bitter. Okay. So or aperitivo. So either Campari style or 1814 Casoni. Okay, that's what you can use in a vermouth. Then you've got Milano Torino, which is just 50-50 vermouth and aperitivo.
Okay.
And then you've got Americano, which is vermouth, aperitivo, and soda. So as you can see, any kind of Italian mixologist, Italian classic cocktails, it's out of vermouth and Amaros, bitters, and stuff.
Okay.
You can do vermouth with Amaro. So instead of the bitter, you can use an Amaro. Actually, Amaro is the translation of bitter in Italian.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Makes
it
sense.
is. It makes also a little bit of confusion, I would say.
I always say it makes sense because you get bitters on all of them, so I can see where,
Yeah, indeed. But that's it. So I would say in any sort of Italian classic liquor recipes, instead of a bitter or aperitivo, you can use an Amaro. But of course, you will have to like the bitter taste, no?
Sure.
The bitter side of it. So I don't know whether this is something maybe interesting for the market here, but it's always good to play with it and then to see it.
Yeah, when you first say bitter to me, I'm going, okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to like that. But I'd say absolutely give it a shot, because once you have it, it's not the bitter in the way that you think. It's very subtle on the back end where it's not overpowering. You get that sweet and that body of the drink up front, and you just get a little bitter on the back, which is intriguing to me. It's just different. I kind of like it. I do like it.
Thank you. Fantastic. Yeah. Super proud of that.
Yeah, absolutely. So what else do we want to talk about these drinks? Where can we get them? I mean, Jeremy?
Within the next 5 business days or so, the next week, we'll be able to source them from Houston Wine Merchant, arguably the best independent wine shop in Texas. They have a really great Amaro selection, artisanal spirits. It's really great people as well. It will also be available at Goody Goody, which will be the Woodway location, and then also with Specs downtown.
On Smith Street.
On Smith Street, yep.
Okay.
Wow, sounds good. Good job, Jeremy.
Okay, so let's talk for just a second about pricing on these things. All 3 bottles. Let's start with the 1814. What's that retail?
So 1814 on average is going to be around $24.99.
$24.99.
Yep.
And then the Heritage?
Heritage is $28.99.
Okay. And then I'm going to call it, Stefano, help us out. I'm going to call it the Bicycle.
The Bicycle Amaro. Fantastic. Sounds even better.
So there's it's typically around 40 to 43.
Okay, 40 to 43.
Yep.
All right. And again, these will be out 5 to 10 days at the 3 locations we talked about. There's going to be Goody Goody on Woodway, Smith Street Specs, and then we're going to have it at Houston Wine Merchant, which is a great place to go shop.
Yep.
Okay. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys joining me on another episode of Food, Wine, and Whiskey in Your Own Backyard. Appreciate you guys coming in.
Thank you so very much, Rob.
Thank you so much.
Till the next episode, everyone, enjoy your next pour.